Welcome to episode 81 of the EdTech Bites podcast. In this episode, I chat with Al Thomas to answer the question, what is in your everyday tech bag?
Welcome to the EdTech Bites podcast,
where we discuss EdTech and food, because as you know, great conversations happen when we break bread with great people.
and now your host and my dad, Gabriel Carrillo.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining me in episode 81. If you are a new listener, welcome, and I thank you for making the EdTech Bites podcast a part of your PLN. Frequent flyers, welcome back, and I too thank you for making this show a part of your PLN as well. I hope that everyone out there is doing well and, more importantly, is safe. Well, if you're viewing this on YouTube, I want to thank you for doing so because this is actually my first video podcast recording. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you. And just know that you can always watch the video at some point on YouTube. Check out the show notes, check out the blog. All that information will be there, including the link, so you can actually see what we're discussing today. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. For this episode, I actually did two things. I asked you on the internets to let me know what is in your everyday bag, your tech bag that you carry around with you all the time. I put this all together in Flipgrid and gathered some pretty good responses from you guys, which we're actually going to showcase. Then I connected with Al Thomas to hear what is in his tech bag, and he agreed. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. So here's the process. We are going to hear those Flipgrid responses from you guys out there, and Al and I are going to discuss them as well as go through our own everyday tech bags. That way you guys can see or hear what's in our bags. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. Here is my conversation with Al Thomas. How you doing, man?
Doing great. So thank you again for having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for accepting the invite, being on the show, and wanting to showcase what's in your tech bag, because like you mentioned in that DM, your tech bag is literally an episode all on its own.
So I'm really excited for the opportunity to just kind of nerd out on gear. I have these conversations with all the time at conferences and just in back channels with so many EdTech friends. So it's great to jump on and be able to have some conversations around it.
Absolutely. So before we actually get into the tech bag stuff, Al, if you don't mind, can you tell us your background in education and a little bit of what you do in education?
Yes. So I have been in education for roughly about 20 years. And so I've had the privilege of being able to be a campus leader as a principal, also worked at the district level to work to integrate technology on the district level, and then also work at a regional service center here in Texas, which was a great experience for me, which really allowed for me to be able to work with districts of all shapes, sizes, at different points in their journeys as far as integrating technology. Recently, I had the privilege of being able to work with Google on a project called the Dynamic Learning Project, which was helping to build a program for instructional coaches. And then I transitioned into doing some work on my own, where I really focus on something that's really a passion of mine, which is creativity. So I'm really big on creativity and being able to integrate creativity and allow students to explore how they can be more creative and become better creative problem solvers.
That's awesome, man. That's something that I think is missing a lot in education right now. We're focusing on, exams and tests and this and that and the other, and we're really not giving the students an opportunity to create, or many. Well, I don't want to say many because not necessarily the case, but creativity can be an assessment. Having students create their own stuff. So that's a whole episode on it. So let's not go down that rabbit hole quite yet. Let's do the following. I have on my little sound pads, I have some Flipgrid responses queued up of what people carry in their tech bags. And I believe this first one is from Amy Storer. So let's hear from her to see what is in her everyday tech bag carry, and then you and I will kind of discuss. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Hi, Amy Story here in Montgomery, Texas. So what's in your tech bag? So I'm going to kind of condense this into one bag. even when I go to conferences and they give out the bags, I typically don't use that bag while I'm at the conference because my backpack is much easier to manage and carry all of the things that I need to have when I'm at conferences, or even just dealing with tech issues or tech types of stuff. So what's in my backpack? What's in my backpack would be things like water. There was one year that TCEA in Austin gave out water bottles with little containers you can put fruit in, and I used it the entire time. It was the best conference swag I've gotten so far. Snacks like turkey bites and pretzels, almonds, things like that. Cords, lots and lots of cords. I have a bag that I got from Jamie Donnelly one year that I still use that keeps all of my cords in it. Let's see, my laptop, headphones, of course, adapters for those headphones as well. My planner, you never know when you're going to need that. Mints, I like to have lots of mints. In my backpack, friction pens. Those are my favorite pens to use, the friction erasable clickable pens. And one of the most important things to carry in any bag when you're anywhere would be your portable battery for your cell phone.
All right. So that's Amy's store. Thank you very much, Amy. A big shout out to you for doing that and giving us a conversation piece. What popped out to you there, Al?
Well, I'll just say that she hit so many points that I personally do myself. I absolutely cannot keep the bag that is given at conferences. It is just a cardinal rule of mine of how fast can I get the bag, empty it, find the things that I need, put them in my own bag, and dispose of into the hotel room when we can get back to that, and into just not ever seeing it again and stuff it into a suitcase. I think the other thing that stood out is definitely the water and the battery bank. I think those are two things that we oftentimes forget, and so many times it's always thinking of a battery bank for yourself, if you're even thinking about it. But I have switched gears and started taking one a little bit bigger, to be able to make sure that I can be prepared to help someone who needs it. Because I have had those times where I've helped someone out, let them use it, and then all of a sudden when I needed it, no power. And then obviously water and keeping hydrated, so you can keep going through session after session. So yeah, those were some great points and some great reminders.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of a buddy of mine at work. His name is Wes Ryan. Big shout out to you, Wes. He pulled out his battery charger one day. This was a couple of years ago, and jump started a car. He got it at Costco for about 60, 70 bucks. Not only
Nice.
does it your cell phone, but it'll actually jumpstart your car.
So, I will be going to Costco later.
For sure. That's right. All right. So that was from Amy's story. We got another one here. So let's go ahead and listen to this one. Oh, you know what? I will go back right now because the one thing that did stand out is that I'm not sure if you were I'm pretty sure you were at that TCA conference. That was 2019, I believe, when they gave out those the fruit infusers. That's what they were. I actually still have mine in my cupboard with remnants of blackberries and strawberries and things like that, because I do agree with her, man. That is vital there.
Yeah, I was going to say about that. Those are great moments when you actually get something at a conference that is just amazing and you just want to keep and hold on to it. But it's also the most frustrating day when it breaks and you can no longer have it. It is the saddest day. So yeah. I'm so glad to hear yours is still functioning.
Yeah, mine's still functioning, but because it is made out of plastic, you can't really wash the little smells out. Yeah. Ginger root. So, all right, let's hear one more. We got another one here. So let's cue this one up.
Hey, Gabriel, Jenny Long here, half of Jenna Lee. Just wanted to answer a couple questions that you have here. So what's in my everyday carry tech bag? So every day I carry a Vera Bradley backpack. And in that bag, I have my laptop or Surface that I take with me everywhere I go. And I have a mouse. And I also have a couple books that I carry with me all the time. I definitely have the, let me check, because I change it out every now and then. So today I have the Microsoft Infused Classroom by Holly Clark and Tanya. And I also have the Interactive Class by Joe and Kristen Merrill. So those go with me everywhere I go as I'm working with teachers. Also in my bag, I have some snacks and some lotion and some hand sanitizer and a couple extra masks. So that's typically what I have in there. Oh, I also have a webcam. and some extra cords. Oh, and I definitely always have my OneNote cape with me because that's essential. When I go to conferences, and I cannot wait to be back for in-person conferences, hopefully next year, maybe at least in the fall of next year. Really, it's just the same backpack. So I might have to take out some of that stuff because, when you're at the conference, you usually end up bringing back some stuff. But I always have lots of water too. That's another thing. I am known to carry about 3 or 4 bottles of water with me everywhere I go. And I always have Spark because I have to drink my Spark throughout the day. So definitely when I'm at a conference, I throw some extra Spark packets in my bag and some snacks because, that conference food is really expensive. So I always try to have some snacks. And usually I have my Surface with me so I can take some notes. But a lot of times I just do everything on my phone, take lots of pictures, and give lots of hugs. So I cannot wait for that again. Also, when I'm at conferences, I always take my business cards to pass out to people and Gentle stickers because everybody needs a Gentle sticker. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else special. Not really. And then, usually if I'm presenting at conferences, usually I'll, have another bag filled with all of the stuff if it's a poster session or, other things that we're using for our session, giveaways or pens and stickers and things like that. So anyhow, I can't wait to hear what everyone else has in their tech bag. So thanks for the fun questions. And I hope that you have a wonderful holiday and get lots of rest.
Thank you very much, Jenny. If you don't know who Gentle is, then you got to follow them on social media. We actually hear from Sully Clark a little bit later, but what popped out to you in that one, Mel?
Yeah, so a lot of great things, a lot of great reminders. I think the one thing it kind of jogged my memory is having the business cards or having some form of being able to give a way for people to get connected with you. I think that is often overlooked and often missed. And so I know for me, there's been plenty of times I've forgotten them in a bag or I've placed them somewhere and I don't have them on me or I run out. So keeping an ample supply of those and the stickers are always great to have on hand. But also I think the just having the different devices to be able to take notes. I think for me, that has been the saver of being able, when something dies or gets close to dying, I can switch over. But I am in the same boat. I find myself oftentimes doing all of the note taking, all of the capturing things I want to come back to and bookmark on my smartphone and being able to use that as my main device at conferences and when I'm traveling. So but a lot of great things and the great things to just kind of be reminded of.
Yeah. And I think that what popped out to me was the water bottles. I personally do not like carrying water bottles. Like the way you feel about the backpacks, like the TCA backpacks or FETC, the ones that they give away, the way you take them back to the room and get them out of sight, out of mind. I'm kind of like that with a water bottle, not like the swag water bottles, but I'm talking about like the Avions or the Walmarts or whatever. I don't like carrying those around because they get heavy. And she mentioned like 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, staying hydrated is super important, but you throw 3 or 4 of those in addition to what I have in my bag, and it's nuts. It's nuts. So I'd rather refill my cup or buy one, drink it, and get rid of it.
I've actually had an incident where I had a water bottle leak on me. And so I lost some small tech items, but nothing major. But it was one of those moments where I'm like you, I just don't carry it directly in my bag. I'm usually drinking it directly, or as soon as I get it, or I have something that I just have in my hand, and that is the max I'm carrying. I usually don't put it in my bag anymore.
Got it. All right, let's hear from Jacob Lueveno over in Austin. So let's hear what he has to say.
My everyday carry bag will include my MacBook, my iPad with a pencil, an Apple TV with HDMI cable so I'm ready to present, and charging bricks for both. For in-person conferences, I really like to travel light, so my backpack will usually only include my iPad Pro with a pencil so I'm ready to sketch note, and my charging bricks for my phone and iPad. That's pretty much it.
Straight up minimalist, right?
I got to say, the smooth tones of the voice, I was impressed. And so he mentioned the brick a number of times. I think for me, one of the things I've switched to is having something that is more of a simplified life and even more minimalist. And that is trying to have one charging brick that works with all my devices. And I really wish that Apple would make that full transition where all the devices are USB Type-C. That would be my Christmas wish for 2021. But that is one of those things I would tell you. I'd try my best to have one charger, because you would be surprised how much lighter your bag gets when you can just have one of those bricks.
Absolutely. And I do agree with you. However, they make millions upon millions just off the lightning cable alone. So to them, it's like, no, we're not going to give this up. But yeah, I
Never.
I feel you on that one. All right. So the next one here is actually one of my colleagues and one of my good friends, Maria Garcia. Let's hear what she has to say.
In my everyday tech bag, I for sure need an organizational bag that stores my chargers, my adapters, just everything nice and organized so that I can find it on the fly, especially when you're running from session to session. And for sure, nowadays, some hand sanitizer.
Another minimalist, and I believe she's one of the few who actually mentioned the physical book to write, because everyone mentioned OneNote and phones and tablets and things like that, but she actually has a physical planner. So not something that I carry. How about you?
Same. I've tried so hard. I mean, when Rocket Books were really taking off, it was something that I tried even before it became more mainstream. It just never is something that has really fit well in my workflow. I do like having the ability to write quick notes down, but when I'm at conferences, I really like to be able to as quickly as possible, whether that is capturing a quick video or a quick recording, like I see something, I'll do a quick note and I have that and I come back to it. There's so many apps that can transcribe it into from audio to text that I'll use those, that I just really have never gotten into heavily writing in a planner or in a journal at conferences.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I bought my wife one of those Rocket Books and she loves it. I wanted to buy one for myself to force myself, but I can't do it. I'd rather pull out the phone and do, like you said, speech to text, or I'd rather swipe. Right.
Exactly. My mind just goes into the mode when I actually start working in them, and I go, I could really just type this in and be done instead of writing it.
Yeah.
Then transferring it over. It doesn't work in my mind.
Yeah. And that's one more thing in the bag. So not to just completely dog you out there, Maria, but that's just something that we don't carry. I almost feel like we're like digging in, but no, that's, different strokes.
I'm personally saying she is a much better person than I am. And she has a much better organized life than I do when it comes to that end. So I applaud her.
And I do know her. We worked on a number of classes together, professional developments, and she is very organized. And I've seen her multiple binders not binders, but notebooks that she carries in that. And she is very organized. So it does work for her. Won't work for us probably, but it works for her. All right. So we have the second half of Gently here. We have Celie Clark. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hey guys, my name is Celie Clark and I am one half of Gently. I'm so excited to share with you what is inside of my everyday tech bag. So every day I have to have, are you ready for this? My Microsoft Surface. I love this computer and it really is amazing. In fact, I bought two of my own that we have at home that my family uses. They're just amazing pieces of technology. The second item inside my bag are blue light glasses. Yes, I feel like I'm going blind in 2020 because we've been staring at our screens so much. So I have definitely taken up wearing blue light glasses. Although my head is a little small, so I have to keep buying the little ones. Maybe I should try the kid size. The third item in my everyday tech bag is not technology at all, but it is a OneNote cape. That's right. Ginny and I love OneNote. It's our favorite app. And of course, we carry our capes with us everywhere. Another item I have in my tech bag is gear, and lots of gear. Our coworker Emily went to the warehouse and got us some cords one day because teachers just need cords. So every time we went into classrooms, we were like, we need cords for all kinds of things. And so we have an assortment of cords in our everyday tech bag. So that way we can help teachers who might be needing some. I also have lights because you just never know when you want to do an impromptu Gently show. And so I have lights in my everyday tech bag. And of course, I have my AirPods. Now, for my conference tech bag, I have all of those same items, maybe a few less cords, but we also have stickers, tons of stickers that we love to give out, and also stickers that we love to collect from all of our friends, even a few poker chips from Leslie Fisher. But we definitely enjoy getting stickers from our friends and swapping stickers. So that is probably the only item extra. Oh, and water. I have lots of water in my conference bag.
So she brought up something that this was the first time hearing it out of all the responses that I received, which was the blue light glasses. Do you have a pair?
I do. It's an interesting topic because I personally think they work, but I know other people who've tried them and they don't feel like they work for them. I just know for me, and especially working remote for a while, that was something that I really needed because I was in front of the computer so often that I just needed to give them a try. And I definitely felt like my eyes were less tired at the end of the day. So I definitely think they're worthwhile, but I have the opposite issue. My head is a little bit bigger. So I run into I had to try a few different sizes before I got something that actually fits. So I guess we both have that struggle of just trying to find the right fit, but they are, in my opinion, worth it. And you can get them fairly affordably.
Yeah, I don't have a pair. And the reason I don't have a pair is I haven't found a pair that fits the dome piece. So if you guys out there make a big head pair, then I will definitely cop a pair of those. But yeah,
the ones I use were the Felix Gray, I believe. And so you may want to check them out because they have a variety of different sizes. And so you may find or have some luck there.
I'll have to give those a shot. All right. So we got our last one up here before you and I go through our tech bags here, Al. We actually have Tisha Poncio. So let's hear what she has to say.
Hey, everyone. This is Tisha Poncio, Texas Tech Chick on Twitter. In my everyday tech bag, first of all, I actually use a really large slouchy tote this year, especially because I'm not going a lot of places. So that just worked for me. It has one side pocket on the inside, and that is what I'm using this year. Here's what I toss into my bag. My MacBook Air, my iPhone tripod, my Samsung USB mic with a USB-C adapter. I also toss in my phone tripod that has a wireless remote. And then I have this Erin Condren accordion bag. And I believe there are 5 zipper pouches in this one bag. And so I put all kinds of things in there. In one bag, I have lipstick and chapstick, but then I also have bags designated for screen cleaner and cloth, an extra battery pack, my AirPods, an extra set of wired headphones, an extra charging brick and cord for my phone, and I also have my Logitech presenter remote. So when I go to conferences, ISTE, TCEA, any of the conferences that I go to typically throughout the year, I would probably trade out my slouchy tote for a backpack, but everything I carry is pretty much the same just because you never know when you're going to need all of those items. So that's what I have. I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody else to see what you have.
All right. So she's got a lot of the same things. However, because she does do some podcasting stuff, especially with those students that she works with over in Saline ISD, she does carry that Samsung mic with her, which is what I'll get into in a bit. But what about you, Al? Anything pop out to you?
Yeah. So first off, she is family. So she is an amazing person. So if you have not followed her, please do so. Definitely some great items. And I agree as far as carrying a number of the items. I think for me, I think the mics are always, it gets interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about kind of what I carry. I try to have one mic that is versatile, that can work with my smartphone or with my camera. So it gives me a little bit of flexibility. But yeah, I think that microphones have become so compact and so easy to carry around. You can get them and use them pretty flexibly in just about any setup, especially when you're traveling. I think I'm in the same boat. I try to keep my bag very similar. I think it's interesting. We've heard of quite a few devices as well. And I'm always of the mindset, use the device that works best for you. So if that's a tablet, if that's a laptop, if that, whatever works for you. The only thing I usually keep in mind is, do I want to be lugging around a very large laptop? So typically I want to be as light as possible because that's usually where the heaviest weight is going to come from. And so, and then I'm also banking on that one day I'm going to win a prize and walk away with a laptop from one of the sessions. So
Yeah. Have you ever walked away with anything?
No.
I've
given away, but I've never walked away with one. But one day.
It's like taking the glove to the ballpark, just waiting for that home run or that foul ball.
Just one day. The day you don't bring it is the day that you miss out on that home run. So
absolutely. Speaking of home runs, let's get into home run right now. I'm going to go through my tech bag right now, and I'm going to put things on my little desktop area here. You guys watching are actually going to see what's in my bag, and I'm going to go through and let's see what you guys have to say. And Al, I want to hear what you have to say as well as I'm doing this. So let me really quickly just switch my cameras and let's get right into it. So there's my desktop area. Let me grab my first item. My first item, obviously, is my laptop. I'm not going to put my laptop in there. You know why? Because I'm using it. That's why. I've got my laptop. I'm not going to put my charging brick on there because obviously I'm using that as well. The other thing that I always carry around with me is some sort of dongle. This is one of them here that obviously I'm using, and I've got another one connected because I've got multiple USB devices plugged into a MacBook Air with only USB-C ports. So a couple other things I'm going to actually turn around and grab really quickly. So let's get into it. Being that it is 2020 and the year of the Rona, I was able to do a Promethean little emergency kit that I received doing one of their little digital breakout things. So I got a first aid kit here, just like that glove that you take to the ballpark. When
nice.
You don't have an emergency kit is when you get a paper cut. Always happen.
And see, now I'm taking notes because I'm definitely going to have to up my bag.
And being that I am a podcaster as well, you never know when you're going to run into someone or spark some sort of conversation or what have you, and you're going to have to do a recording. And if you don't want to carry a bunch of stuff around with you, as far as recording devices, I actually was able to pick up one of these Rode, I don't remember the exact, SC6L. So this boy connects to the iPhone, and then inside this little pouch, there are two lavalier mics that you can use, and you could literally mic somebody up, and then you plug these into the inputs here. And with the companion Rode app, you are now not broadcasting, but you are now podcasting and recording a high quality audio conversation literally from your phone.
Nice.
You mentioned some. Do you have this in your ensemble there?
So it's something I'm gonna reveal later, but I guess I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. So I recently transitioned from Android to iOS, and so I do not have that specific cable, but I do. I had a similar setup when it came to Android, so love that. It definitely creates some high quality audio, definitely compared to what you can get out of just recording directly into your phone.
Yeah, it makes a world of difference. And then my next thing is, if I know that I'm going to be recording like in the hotel room, or being that I record with, I like to have conversations with people and record while we break bread together, being that
the OG, nice.
I have my H4n Pro, which I carry around with me. And for those of you who do not know, this is it's technically a field recording device.
It is a workhorse.
Yes, it's got two XLR inputs and 1/4 inch as well, so you can plug in instruments. It's got a microphone capsule up top that records. With this, I carry, obviously I got to have a microphone, so I always carry around 2 of these Audio Technica ATR 2100s, I believe. And then, being that this is powered by batteries, you cannot be in the middle of an interview and have your device die on you, which I have had happen to me. So I always carry fully charged rechargeable batteries along with the charger as well. And I do have the cable that goes with it for the power supply. Everyone always talked about, that battery pack. That is not a Nearpod one. I threw a Nearpod sticker on there, but I've got a couple of USB ports, a high-speed one, and I actually got to upgrade this thing because it still charges over a micro USB. But you know what? It does the job. It definitely does the job. And then when recording, whether it be on my phone or on that recorder, you gotta have this in-ear earbuds. And I picked up these ones at IST 2014 in Atlanta. So nice. I actually picked these up there, and when I say picked up, I won them. And you never know, because it is I do carry an iPhone. You got to have one of these little dongles here to make sure that you can listen to stuff. And then I also carry around the not an extender, but a multi-port cable system. That way I can, if I'm doing a mobile podcast recording or what have you, and the people want to hear themselves at the same time, I can always plug them in. That way they can monitor their audio as well. So those are some of the things I carry around with me.
Nice.
I don't even know why I carry these, but I still have these in here. I still got the straight up Apple.
You have to. You just never know. There is always a moment when you're just like, they would have worked perfectly, and now I have nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And then what's all these different headsets without another headset, right? You gotta have the AirPods Pro. You gotta walk around with those. You gotta be wireless at times, and sometimes you just gotta tune the world out. And I absolutely love these bad boys. The noise cancellation on the Pros is unreal. It's not going to shut off the entire world, but it does the job when you just kind of want to be in the zone, get your thoughts, or maybe start pre-producing and planning that next podcast episode or what have you. I'm going to grab some other stuff here. Anything you want to pipe in on here?
Yeah, I'll say a lot of great items that I definitely would echo or have similar things. And so the H4n is an amazing recorder. I used one for a number of years before I transitioned over. I primarily use like a Mix Pre now, but I will tell you that if you have this recorder, you could definitely take this, use it for podcasts, use it for just recording audio. You can, if you're a musician, it works great. You have multiple mics that are already built into the device, and then also the fact that you can plug in additional mics to it as well. You have so much flexibility and versatility with this device. And then also, I have to agree, the AirPod Pros they're great, especially if you're in the Apple ecosystem. Just the simplicity, the ease of use, the active noise cancellation works great. It's not the best, but it does work really well. And I definitely would say, just for sheer fact of convenience, they are well worth having on hand. And if you were one of the lucky few like I was, when you purchased or picked up a device, you were able to get a pair for free. You definitely can benefit from that, but it definitely is worth giving a try, giving a listen to.
Yeah, yes, they are. I was kind of a non-believer until I plugged them in, or not plugged them in, but paired them up. And then when I shut the world off, I was like, whoa, this is unreal here. So a couple other things I've definitely got, I've got my charger that I've got. Here's that XLR cable I was talking about to mic up.
Nice.
There's always the USB option, but there's nothing like using the Zoom as an audio interface where you can have compression and all that good stuff. I always carry 2 boom arms with me with the mounts, which definitely weigh down the bag, but come in handy when you sit down at the hotel on that table and ready to
Definitely. Which ones are you using?
These are the newer ones. Literally,
Okay.
they're called newer. I think they're like $15 on Amazon.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you're using the newer ones, and I would also say the Rode ones, they have a pretty high weight capacity. So when you're done, if you're not using them for a mic, they can be repurposed for holding lights. You just change out the end piece, and then you can mount a light on it. And then because of the articulated arm, you can move it around and have a lot of flexibility on your desk. So if you're looking to do recordings at your desk and your setup, and you have one of those laying around, know that you can use it in a variety of ways.
Yeah. I haven't picked up that the PSA one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That bad boy is pretty big, and that's why I don't carry it around.
Hey, it'll build those muscles.
Yeah, for sure. So another item I've got is, remember these USB stick drives? You
Wow.
never know when you need one, right? I don't even know what's on there, but you just never know. And then with any SD card, micro SD card, anything. So I've got my little micro SD card / SD card reader that goes into one of my many dongles. I've got another dongle for video, for HDMI / VGA, because you never know.
VGA will never die.
No, it won't. It's like the lightning cable, right?
Not in school settings. There will always be a VGA somewhere.
And I do carry around my little Nearpod pen that I received. I should be getting promotion from them.
Hey, come on, sponsor.
That's right. So it's not only a pen, but it's actually a stylus on the other end and a flashlight on the other.
Nice.
So I feel like MacGyver when I'm walking around with this bad boy. And the other thing that I'm actually going to take out of the case right now, and you guys can probably hear that, is my gimbal. So if you don't know what a gimbal is, you're about to see one right now. So this is the last thing that I carry especially when I go to conferences, because you never know when you want to get a nice shot, when you see a picture that you want to take, or maybe a nice landscape of somewhere you've never been. Like, for example, Orlando FETC 2019. I could not stop taking pictures. I'd never been to Orlando, so it was really nice to do that. And for those of you who don't know what this is, it's kind of like a selfie stick. I kind of just threw up in my mouth when I said selfie stick. I don't like that term, but it is a motorized three axis stabilizer. So when you power this bad boy up, you put your phone in here in that cradle, and when you power it up, it'll actually hold and pivot the phone in a way where you can walk around with it. You don't have that shake that you normally get with when you're holding your phone and walking at the same time. I use this thing so much, my actual button died or broke off, especially during my son's band marching season this past fall. So to me, that's just a reason to go pick up another one. So I think I'm going to end up getting the Osmo 4, I think it is.
Yeah.
Is that what you have back there?
That's actually the Ronin SC. It's more of a mirrorless. It can handle a smartphone with an adapter, but it is mainly for like a mirrorless size camera, or you can do a lighter DSLR on it, but it's definitely for a little bit bigger gear.
Okay. And then I got two last things here before you go into it, Al. You can't walk around a conference or anything, or even your school or district office, whatever, without gum, right?
You can, but it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. No. And then lastly, these are my go-to snacks. The Nature Valley almond butter biscuits. You get like 40 of them at Costco for like $11. Have them in the pantry, throw a couple in your bag. You will always have that snack handy. So these are just the things that I carry around. I know there might be a couple more things that I carry around with me as well, but those are like the go-to things that I always have in my bag, especially
Nice.
my conference bag as well. And somebody mentioned, I think in one of the recordings, that they lighten their bag when they go to conferences because they like to get swag and they prepare for all that stuff. I tend to carry more when I go to conferences. As a matter of fact, I tend to carry 2 bags. So I'm that weirdo walking around with a backpack and like a duffel bag, getting scanned by security as I walk. But that's what I have in my tech bag. And Al, we're going to take it to you, man.
No, I'll say great lit or great backpack or a great list of items just to kind of have on hand. And so a lot of them that I carry are very similar. There may be some differences, some variations. So I'll kind of talk through some of the things that I use when I am either traveling or just to have in my bag, just at a ready. And so right now, I'm going to switch cameras so that you can see. So right now, I'm actually using one of the cameras I carry with me. This is the Sony ZV-1 that I'm actually using to be able to just kind of give a little bit better quality on the feed. If I actually switch cameras, and hopefully this doesn't disrupt anything, but if I switch over to just my normal FaceTime camera, you can see the difference in quality. It's just not the same. It's just not as clean. It's not as crisp. So I use the Sony ZV-1 kind of as my camera when I am in my home and just shooting and just doing some quick live streams. But it's also a great compact camera that has a built-in lens that allows me to take it wherever I go. It has some great quality of life features, and one of them I'm going to actually use really quickly. So with this ZV-1, it allows for me when I am shooting video, if I hold something up, you'll notice that the focus will actually shift to the item that I'm actually showing. And then if I remove it, it'll actually shift back to my eyes. This is a great feature on this camera, and that if you're doing vlogging, if you're doing, or you're just at a conference and you're shooting and you're recording, it's a great camera to be able to have for that. And so I have it in my pocket. It's built pretty ruggedly. So it allows for me to be able to just kind of throw it in my bag and just have it, pull it out, shoot some quick video, post it on social, or be able to just have it recorded that I can take into another editing program. So great camera, works really great for that. I love carrying around a number of different items to be able to make sure that I am, one, going to have an enjoyable experience. And so I do have the AirPod Pros, but my go-to headphones, and I shared these on social media when a friend of ours, Claudio, posted the question about the new Air Pro Max, which I just will never see myself buying because I don't want to spend $540 or $550 on headphones when I have headphones like this. These are the Sony XM. It's a very long neck. Yeah, the fours.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so these are some of the best noise canceling headphones, and you put these on when you get onto a plane, and the world just kind of melts away. They are perfect for when you're traveling and you're at conferences and you just need to kind of detox. So I'm always using those. Those are always in my bag, and I refuse to go anywhere without them. The next thing that is always in my bag is the Peak Design Tech Bag. So this is just a really cool bag that actually allows for me to be able to house all the things that I use on a daily basis. So has some pretty good space to be able to house items. I have recently started carrying an HDMI cable with me because I've been at went to a few events, obviously pre-COVID, that didn't have an HDMI cable, or an HDMI cable wasn't working correctly. So I had to have that on hand and ready to go. So I do have my battery bank that's available. I have a smaller, slim one that I can just use, and I usually don't share this with others because it's something that I just have with me and that I can easily get to, and I can make sure that I have easily accessible for myself. I have another one that I usually have, and I make available for anyone who needs it. It is heavier. That is this one here, and you'll notice it's pretty big. It actually allows me to charge multiple devices. I even have a full-size plug that I can plug in. So if I have a laptop, anything along those lines, I can plug this in, and I'm good to go. So that's been a lifesaver.
I think I saw
Say it
that.
again.
I think I saw that on The Mandalorian.
Yes. It is one of those that I definitely tell you it's charged and it will last you the entire conference. You charge it once, and I guarantee you're going to have a very hard time of running it down. I didn't hear anyone mention this, but and I know you mentioned the hub that you use or the dongle, but I always have my USB Type-C hub with me no matter what I am doing. This always comes in handy, whether I'm speaking at a conference or not. So that is always there. I do have the VGA version just in case. So that is always here. Tisha did mention her remote. I do need to upgrade my media remote, but I do have this on hand just in case. So that is always a lifesaver. And then something that I've used in the past that I do, I've just recently upgraded. So I usually carry, these are small solid state drives. So they're USB-C. These are really fast, really compact. And I carry these around because of a couple of things. One, if I drop these, I don't have to worry about any footage that I've recorded losing it because there's no moving parts. So I usually am in a much better place with the things that I've recorded, knowing that they're safe on a drive like this. And then also just the speed. So when I am editing video, these are way faster than any mechanical drive that you would have. So these save me times when I'm editing video or editing photos. So these are definitely worth having. I recently just upgraded to a much more expensive and a much more powerful and a much more fast, or I wish I could talk today, a faster drive. And that is my new drive that I'm going to be editing off of primarily. But these are lifesavers, and just having these available will definitely save you some headaches when you're trying to edit footage for any event or thing that you're doing. So those are a few of the items. The next thing I'm going to share is I always have a light on me, and I know some mentioned that. So this is the Aputure Light. It's a really small, compact. It can be charged by micro USB. So I can plug that in. It gets really bright. So I can turn this on. I can increase the brightness. I have control over that. I can put something in front of it that'll allow me to diffuse the light so I can make it softer. So this is a really great, I could probably say you can get these for like $30, and they're, once again, built like tanks, and they work great. So definitely worth having if you're going to be shooting video and having things that you're creating where you're maybe going to be in a very dark area. Those can be a definite lifesaver.
Yeah.
And I know, go ahead.
That's a good idea. I never thought about picking up a compact light like that.
Yeah, they work great. There's a lot of cheaper versions, but Aputure has never steered me wrong, and I would definitely tell you they're worth picking up. The next thing I have is these are two. These are actually the mics that I'm starting to use more and more, especially for just quick things. These are the Rode. I just drew a blank on the names, but these are Rode lav mic, or mics that you can actually put onto your camera or onto your smartphone. So they work really well. So one will connect directly to whatever device that you're recording on, and then the other can actually be clipped onto a shirt. There's also a lav that you can actually plug in, and then that will actually allow for you to be able to clip that onto your shirt. But you can get some amazing audio from these very small compact devices. So definitely worth picking up. They have a number, they come in a number of different colors. So you can definitely check that out, but they're really simple. Plug them in, literally turn the power on, and they're ready to go. So you don't have to have a lot of fuss with them. So definitely worth checking out. So, and while I'm switching over, any questions on any of the things I've shared so far?
No, man, that hamster's running around in my head on the wheel, just thinking like, okay, the lights.
I want to apologize to your wife.
I've seen, yeah, I know. I've seen that Rode wireless oven setup. I'm gonna have to pick that up later. So have at it, man. Keep going. Let's
Yeah.
you got.
So the next thing that I recently switched over, because I'm actually working from an iMac, which is once switching over remote and dealing with everything that 2020 had to offer. So I decided to go ahead and have something that was much more powerful for the workflow that I was doing. So I do have the iPad Pro as well as kind of more of my mobile device. And it's honestly been amazing for the size of this. The power that is built into an iPad is amazing. I can edit photos. I can edit video. I can do just about everything that I would normally do on a full-size laptop. I am not going to be that person that tells you that it replaces a laptop. but I am going to tell you that when I look at the things that I'm doing, and I look at how I can adjust my workflow to fit what the iPad does best, then it really does enhance the work that I'm doing. So I love being able to work on a touchscreen when I'm editing photos. It's super powerful when I'm wanting to export a video quickly and be able to post it. So there's a ton of things that you can do with it, and I definitely can't leave home without it. And it definitely is in my bag when I'm going to conferences and presenting. I do have a Chromebook. It's actually the Pixel book, or it's the Pixel Slate, which is a tablet, but technically a Chromebook. But it's used primarily if I'm going to speak, and I'm speaking on anything that has to do with Google. I have that available. It's set up to just kind of work in that environment. And so that is kind of my primary device that I present from when I'm definitely speaking about all things Google. So next, I'll talk about the microphone. So the mic that I'm using is actually a USB mic. I am 100% in agreement with you as far as XLR is the way to go. If you are going to be, if you want to be really, you have a nice setup, you want to have the best audio, you are investing in that to be something that you're building out, whether it's podcasting or just wanting to have really clean audio for anything that you're creating. But I love the quick and easy life of having a USB mic like the Yeti X. This is a great mic that gives you great quality, and I can literally pull it down, put it on a stand, and have it with me wherever I go. And it is built like a tank, works great, and it is something that I can always trust that's going to give me really good audio, and I'm not going to have any struggles or any problems, and I'm not going to really have to fuss with it. It just works, and that is something that I really enjoy. And I think it's something that I would definitely recommend for those who are looking to maybe get into having better audio, or they just want to kind of step up, but they're not really jump into the XLR world and having maybe a big mixer or things along those lines. So, and then I guess the major reveal that I'll reveal here on the podcast is that, yes, I have officially transitioned from Android to iOS. So at this point, everyone that knows me can start to send the messages to be able to wonder what's going on. But yes, I have. And I did that mainly because I love Android. And I tell people all the time, when it comes to technology, you really should not just be so ingrained into one space that you don't explore and try new things out. And I've been definitely having some struggles with some of the things that I was doing, that I could find workarounds in the Android world. But I really like the fact that for iOS, those things were already simplified. Those things were easy to be able to accomplish without having to come up with some crazy workaround. Now, there are some things that I definitely miss with Android, but it has been a great experience so far, and I'm already past the return window, so I guess I'm stuck with it for now. So,
oh man, that's interesting. That's interesting.
And then I'll give you the one last thing where all these things are housed, and that is my bag of choice, which is the Peak Design. This is the 30-liter everyday bag. It is a camera bag, and the reason that you would call it a camera bag is because when you actually go in and unzip it, you'll notice that it actually has these shelves that can be folded, and then you can actually put gear. So if I have cameras, if I have lenses, I have these spaces. I can pull these out, and they're Velcro, and I can adjust the shelves to wherever I need them. But these are great bags. They're built very well. They have I believe a lifetime warranty. And so they have been amazing bags, they're the type of bag that you buy and then you're like, I never have to pick up another bag until I either just want, because they're going to last for a while. And the ones that I've had before, I've been able to resell them because they held up really well and there was a demand for them. And that allowed me to be able to upgrade to this one. And it's a great bag. And it's one of the main reasons why when I have that it really doesn't benefit me to carry the conference bag with me. So that's not an exhaustive list by any means, but it is a number of the things that I have with me, and I try to keep with me whenever I'm speaking or I'm at conferences.
That's awesome, man. So you've got a lot of stuff. You've got a lot of things in there that are making me think. Like, for example, you're carrying around like the Tesla of bags. So I've got to up my bag game. I haven't decided if I'm going to carry my Roadcaster Pro around with me. But I think that Zoom X4n or H4n Pro, that thing's a workhorse. It's lasted.
It is.
I haven't had any issues with it, so I think I'm just going to stick to that. So
the one I had before, I had the original version, and it lasted me, I want to say, maybe 6 years.
Wow.
It was an amazing, and I probably could have kept it for another 3-4 years and not had a single issue with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. All right. Well, Al, I appreciate you joining me on this episode to go over what's in your tech bag, help me kind of go through what other people have uploaded and showed us and actually told us about, because I want people to start thinking for this next school year, after we're all vaccinated and we have that government tracking device in our arms, that we start thinking about and evaluating how this past year has affected us, what we carry, what we don't carry, and start thinking about how we can switch those things up. So Al, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your tech bag with us. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, my conversation with Al Thomas. A special shout out to you, Al, for joining me, and actually my first video podcast and showing us what you have in your everyday tech bag. Ladies and gentlemen, start thinking about that. Start thinking about how you could switch up your bag game. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast to get notified. Also, leave a review on Apple Podcast, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your EdTech Bites on. Make sure that you tell a friend about the show and you help spread the word. And also subscribe to the EdTech Bites website at edtechbites.com and follow me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at EdTech Bites, and the Facebook page at facebook.com/EdTech Bites. This is Gabriel Carrillo signing off, and don't forget that great conversations happen when we break bread with great people, or in this case, share what we have in our tech bag with great people. Thank you.